I don't care what you look like or what you think. I don't care what you do or where you're from. All I care about is that gift hidden inside you. And all I want to do is help it come alive. Because where we're going, we're going to need a lot of heroes. For the record, 10,000 Heroes is brought to you by Momentum Lab. The point of Momentum Lab is to turn idealists into impactors by aligning your dreams and aspirations with success in every area of your life today. Momentum Lab is like a playground for your highest self. We take your dreams seriously and help you remove any blocks to realizing them. We do this through courses, virtual events, in-person events, and our signature year-long accelerator. To join our world, engage in dialogue, meet up in person, and just blow your mind, sign up at momentumlab.com. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Ankur Shah Delight. And as you know, this is 10,000 Heroes, and the show is about three things: inspiration, and turning this medium inside out and making it about love and connection. So today's episode is a little bit different. It's with Nate, but this is a new Nate that you've never seen before. This is Nate outside of the box. Nate unleashed from having to turn his attention to the latest interview, and Nate just more like running wild and sharing crazy stories about his life. So I'm stoked about it. As everything else we do, this is an experiment, and I'm trying to create this whole bevy or this quiver of correspondence. So we've got Nate, we've got Jeff Salzman, I'm trying to get that guy Micah, the musician, to come on more, Shilpa, who was on a couple of years ago, just to have a little more touch points into the world here. So let me know what you think. This is Nate on his insane Christmas vacation.
Hey, Unc.
Nate.
I was wondering if I kind of want to do a podcast takeover today.
Ooh, don't call it a comeback. You've been here for years.
So I think I gave you maybe some of the broad strokes, but I had a fucking disaster of a Christmas vacation. And I want to unpack it with you.
Okay.
I want to unpack it with you because you know that I carry maybe 600 megatons of cognitive dissonance just to get through breakfast in the morning and live my lifestyle. And there's these moments in my life where my contradictions, all this shit, all these fucking points of conflict in me come to a head. And that's what happened. And I'm just like smelling the dirty underwear of my own absurdity. It's just like just in my face. And it's inescapable. And I'm still obvious. You could tell I'm still
Gross image. Sorry.
I'm still bothered by it. I'm sorry. I hope I don't offend our listeners, but you could tell that it's still active in me.
Yeah.
So all right, let me see if I can unpack it with you and let me see if I can set this thing up without boring everyone. But okay, so I had planned this little getaway with my sweetie pie.
Yeah.
Over the holidays. I took a couple weeks off and we had really high hopes, We had kind of a rough fall, and we're looking forward to just unwinding and enjoying ourselves, some beach time.
Yeah, just a couple of relaxed, privileged elites in a third world country.
That's right.
Yeah. Sorry, no, I'm just, dude, I love you. I'm joking.
That's precisely, but just let me get to the fucking thing already. Yes, just that. That's what we're looking for. I want to take selfies. I want to see my girl in a bikini. I smuggled some psychedelics down. Maybe or maybe not in a balloon. Maybe or maybe not inside myself. Maybe or maybe not that was overkill. That's not a relevant detail to this story.
Oh God, it's the only detail I care about now. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to derail you. Keep going. This is amazing.
The point is we had high hopes and big plans for this vacation, and we were going to trip on the beach. We're going to have sex. We're going to drink tequila and eat ceviche, and it's going to be great. We're going to go to this island in Mexico. It's called Holbox. Have you heard of it?
Hobos.
Holbox. It's spelled with an X, like Holbox.
Ah,
It's just a little
yeah, I've heard
island
of it. It's over by the
off
Yucatan.
the north.
It's near like Isla
It's just
Mujeres.
off the coast. That's well, yes, just around the. It's on the north side of the Yucatan, just off the coast. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so already I feel myself encountering conflict within myself because I don't want to bash the place because I care about the merchants there, the taxi drivers I met, everyone that's depending on their livelihood. But no one should go there ever. No one should go to this place, and no one should go there.
Why not?
No one should go there because it's not even. There's no there there. There's no there in Holbox. It's a sandbar. It's a sandbar. It's a sandbar. It's barely above the water. It's just and so I just want to give the I want to impress upon our listener just the ecological fragility of this situation. Um, so the environment there, it's mostly manglares, mangroves, which are these incredible. I know you
Right?
know they're
Yeah.
beautiful, incredibly delicate. You should go with someone that knows some maybe a conservationist, and they take you and they know how to not touch them. You know, you breathe on them funny, and like 6,000 species go extinct. That's what I understand of them. You know, I mean, that's like the whole situation with Tulum, right? They built like a whole business park and
Yeah.
condominiums and shit, just paved over the whole fucking thing. And those things are never coming back. All right. So I mean, that's the situation with Hobos. And it is like now this Instagram influencer hotspot with, I
Oh,
mean, yeah, no, I mean, sexy people, great food, you know,
okay.
great mezcal. I mean, it's a party. I mean, literally, it's a party. So let me back up. Let me back up because this is. I just wanted to set that up so people know
And now you're going to tell us the story of your journey.
how I got there. Yeah,
Okay.
how
Yeah.
I got there and what we experienced when we got there.
Yeah.
So I think I should also say I don't know that this isn't probably relevant to the moral of the story, except maybe don't go to a super spreader dance event 2 days before your Christmas vacation. But Elena got the flu a day before we left off, so she gets on the plane with 102-degree fever. So we fly down. She's sick as a dog, and you have to fly into Cancun. And you probably already know the whole absurdity that you encounter when you land in
Mm, yeah.
Cancun,
Yeah.
right? It's just the whole tourism situation there. It's just out of control.
Yeah. It's like what people imagine when they think of like overrun
Yeah,
tourism.
what they think
Yeah.
of stupid gringos is just like,
Yeah.
oh, they're all here. You just
Yeah.
sent them all here. They just bought like a fucking charter plane and dropped them off in Cancun. And
And then gave them a bunch of like golf carts and it's just yeah.
but I mean, there's a Margaritaville in the airport, right? And so, okay, here's the thing with the Cancun airport. And the day we arrived, the bridge outside the airport collapsed like the day before. So there's like this 4 or 5 hour backup just from the freeway entrance to the airport.
Oh yeah.
And so you have this situation at the airport. You just like all these drunk Americans that are just in total crisis.
Because they
I mean,
can't
these are
get
like
to the
people.
beach. They
They
flew
can't get
in
to their hotels.
and they're
They're just
stuck
like
in
they can see their
Margaritaville.
hotel. They're stuck in Margaritaville, not the Margaritaville that they want to be at. They're in the airport, but they're drinking, but they're very upset. So there's like women and men and people of all kinds sitting on the curbs, crying, weeping into their margaritas. Like literally, this
Oh.
is the scene. Some of them are tripping, some of them are drunk, some of them are puking, and I mean it's pandemonium. And there's like this 6 hour backup wait just to get out of the airport. So that's where it starts. That's the scene. That's we end up there. Elena's like fucking like pale, like gray, like a gray kind of like beigeish, but she's like got a 102-degree fever, maybe 100, somewhere between 102 and 104-degree fever. I of course am having a great time because I love Mexico, because I love Mexicans.
Yeah.
So I'm just like talking all this shit with all these guys that are also screwing me and charging me $400 for this bus that's going to take me to this ferry to take me to this ecological nightmare. But I'm having a good time so far. I meet this guy from Chihuahua. He's probably my cousin. I buy him a beer. Elena's slumped down in her chair. She's like collapsing into herself. She's just like, just like a whole mountain of tissues in front of her. She's just like trying to survive. Anyways, we get through that chapter. We get in a bus, get to our ferry about 2 hours away, get on a ferry, and get ferried to this island, sandbar, Holbox. And we arrive at night, and Elena goes straight to bed and passes out because she's sick. And I do the right thing, and I tuck her in, and I go out and I party.
Party. Because that's what you're there to
Party.
do. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm there, and it's like Mardi Gras. And it's like the party is spilling out into the streets. Live bands, people are selling weed and smoking weed in the street, drinking. Everybody's just having a fucking amazing time. And I'm like, this place is great. There's pizza everywhere. There's like lobster pizza. It's just like, wow, this is exactly what I came here for. You know what I mean? I'm like, satisfaction, total, expectations met, right? Okay, so great. So then we wake up. Next day, Elena's still sick as a dog. I feel great. We head to the beach, sunny, beautiful. I mean, like, it's exactly what we thought. Paradise. Influencers, selfies, bikinis, ceviche, whole thing. And we spend the day there. We have a good time. We have a good time that day. Day two, a tropical storm hits.
Oh, okay. Now this is like I can see the movie forming here now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
okay.
kind of see. You're like, yeah, have a good time. It goes like, what's that? It's like clouds kind of gathering out at sea on the horizon. You like through the course of that day, you see them kind of approaching, and by the nighttime of that first day into the second day, you hear that first kind of thunder strike, and then it's just downpour, complete downpour, and this island floods. I mean, the whole island is like standing water. And there's another element to this I want to add because the tourism there is like completely dependent on these souped up ATV vehicles, like these golf carts with giant wheels, and all
To
these
drive
taxi
around on the
drivers. They're also-
sand. Yeah.
because you're not allowed. No cars are allowed. That's what they say. So, it's like a conservationist. Like this is an ecological thing. It's like It's advertised as ecotourism, right? And all these like resorts are like eco resorts.
Oh, because there's
that are
no
like pumping the
privately owned cars or no tourist
Right.
cars. Yeah.
no tourist cars and no cars. There's no real cars. They're all these like ATV vehicles that are completely eroding the whole because they're just cruising through the sand, leaving these giant divots, potholes, these giant holes in the roads, which then, as the storm starts coming down, the water level's rising, all these holes fill in with water, and you can't walk around. So now you're doubly dependent on these taxis that are like the only ones brave enough to go and take you from the town back to your Airbnb. So these holes, these become lagoons, connect with the other lakes there, little lagoons that have crocodiles. So now you got the crocodiles and the water level. You're wading through if you can. Otherwise, you're trying to like kind of get through in these golf carts. You're going through the golf cart. The water level is like up into the cart, right? As you're like lifting your legs up. And then it all starts falling apart. Then you realize that. So we started calling it the Fire Festival of Christmas Vacation. I don't know if you remember this thing called the Fire Festival. There's this music festival that these geniuses threw on some private island, and it was going to be this big thing. It was a total scandal because they didn't plan it well. They didn't have any water or food. There was no toilets. There was no place for anybody to sleep. Nobody has so they just turned into like Lord of the Flies at a fucking music festival. That was like starting to feel like the situation because you start to see like everything's laid bare, and for the infrastructure, like where are they putting sewage? You're like, I don't know. It's like all of this water starts to stink like crazy. You just start to see all the trash floating by. It's like, okay, so then we're there and it gets to a point so flooded that we can't leave the Airbnb. We can't leave the room. We're just stuck there. And so here's the part that I could use some help. I mean, you called it out in the beginning of the story and pretty much ruined the story, but thank you. But that is
Sorry.
the punchline. That is the punchline. Is I feel miserable and I feel like so embedded in this situation. It's like I'm contributing to it. I came here. If it hadn't been for the tropical storm, I still would have been dancing on tables, shoving lobster pizza in my face and, dancing for tips or whatever, my plans were for that. But somehow through the confluence of events, I was like presented with this perfect opportunity to witness this absurd fucking situation. And so it like brought up a lot of questions, man. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, okay, so like there's a whole it's like
I mean, because
socioeconomically,
your
say, like, this
family is
elitist.
from Mexico, so it's
My,
not.
my father's
Yeah,
from Chihuahua. Yeah, yeah,
it's not
yeah,
just like a place where you can go and not have. Because like when I've been to places like that, and there's a lot of people that are there, and you can tell that they're just stoked that they don't have to have the same rules. Like they can drive a golf cart while drunk anywhere they want, and there's not going to be a ticket. And they're like,
yeah.
it's not,
Right,
it's
that's
cool,
part.
They're like stoked about
Yeah,
that, right? Which is
right.
fine. But for you, it's not just fine and uncomplicated because you can relate to like what it's like that there's
Well,
people actually that live
yeah,
there. Is that
and like my whole thing is when I'm traveling is like I recognize I'm an idiot, but I always feel better when there's other gringos around because I'm like I'm not as big of an idiot as that guy,
mm-hmm.
right? So I mean that's that whatever that spectrum is of idiocy, I'm definitely on it. I don't know exactly where I am, but yeah, I guess that's true. I guess also maybe I have some of the context and I feel pretty well traveled and I connect with people when I'm traveling. I think that maybe is also like a distinction people try to make. I know I've tried to make is I'm not a tourist, I'm a traveler.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm a pilgrim. I'm a pilgrim looking for mezcal and cheap marijuana on vacation. It's like the truth is that you're not that fucking different than the guy that's drunk hanging out the golf cart. You think you are when you get there until all the shit is stripped away and then you're just standing there right, you know, shoulder to shoulder with that bozo and you're both up to your waist in sewage.
Sewage.
And so what do you
Yeah.
do? What do you do? I mean, I know you like to travel. Okay, let me just ask like a very high level point.
Yeah.
Can we have leisure travel? I mean, like as someone that, like yourself, takes climate change seriously, probably spends some time each year calculating this carbon footprint. I mean, is there, Elena asked this question, is there even a world where we can have responsible leisure travel?
Okay.
Before we get into all the arbitrage and all that shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave the climate change thing aside because I don't take it seriously in the way that you're suggesting it. I have friends who do, but I don't.
Okay. You
Yeah.
don't.
No, I don't.
You want to qualify that at all for a listener? I mean, maybe, I don't know, you just,
I just ultimately so many of these things are just a matter of convenience and what is possible. And the whole time when I was like living as a traveler or a pilgrim for many years, living with
yeah.
almost no money, like never staying in any kind of lodging that costs money. And I just like meet people. I was doing what
hmm
I would consider to be like the right way of traveling.
hmm
I just that was my life, was flying around places once or twice a year and spending 6 months there. I didn't want to look at reducing my carbon footprint. That was just what I was doing. Then what would I be doing?
You
So it
continue
just
to do.
wasn't, yeah, it wasn't convenient for me in the same way that it's not convenient for anybody. And,
hmm
and the fact that anybody is actually changing their life due to specter of climate change,
hmm
to me, it's heroic. Like I have a friend, they're
hmm
moving from Colorado to northern British Columbia because
hmm
they're really concerned about water in
hmm
the part of Colorado where they live. To me, that's just
hmm
like I kind of can't believe it. I kind of can't believe that anyone is like really taking it that seriously, even though at the same time intellectually, I think we should all be taking it that seriously.
Okay, great. I'm so glad
yeah,
you
they're
took
just
this
like,
sidetrack, because this is it. This is the nut for me. Intellectually, I take it seriously, but
yeah.
what am I willing to give up? So I think and I want to venture this. I think that, and we don't need to get into the kind of contentious parts of temperature increases, but there's ecological decimation that's happening as a result of our industry and activity. Yes?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I think if we take that seriously, we don't remedy that without giving up some of these comforts that we're used to, some of these leisure activities that we're used to.
That's all true, but I want to go back to your question, because I don't think we even need the climate change thing to I think leisure travel is just screwed without that, even.
Because of the social, economic,
just the basic idea that I'm gonna go to a place where I have no concerns, that is made possible by people who have concerns. And there's this whole like class thing and power thing and race thing and international thing. To me, it's like deeply, deeply fraught. So what that means, because I'm not trying to like prescribe anything to anyone or even be judgmental about it, but what it means
this
for
is
you,
just about, just so we're clear, this is just about me.
Yeah, this is about you.
This podcast is about me.
Yeah, this is about you. So what that means for you as someone who's tuned into that reality is it's going to be very hard for you to have a good time vegging out on the beach in some third world country, because you're aware of all those things. And so it's just not going to be relaxing. Like the person who like doesn't care about that, and they work at a bank, or they work at whatever they work, and they're tired, I'm not, I said bank. I wasn't thinking about your fiance. I just meant like someone who's just like works a job and they just want a vacation, and they go to some all expense paid thing in Mexico, and they get the vacation they're looking for. That's like,
right.
It's working for them. You can talk about the whole imperialist thing or whatever, but for them, they just wanted to like not think about work for 2 weeks and hang out with their kids, or maybe have their kids in childcare and have golf, margaritas, maybe. And they got what they need. They're good. You're not going to get that.
What?
Because that whole thing.
But I want that.
That whole thing is built on this like these asymmetries of power that you're aware of.
Yeah.
And you're like never not going to be like the half Mexican guy in Mexico that's like profiting because of like the currency purchasing power disparity. It's like that's true, and you're going to be aware of it, and you're not going to be happy about that. And so it's like it's always going to be fraught for you. And I know this because it's the same for me. Like I spent so many years just traveling like basically with nothing and loving it. And there's all this hard stuff that comes with that, but it's like awesome. And now like I went to Hawaii, which is this colonized part of the US that has all these people that are like, fuck you, gringo, from the mainland. And it's
Howleys.
Yeah, it's complicated. And it's like not relaxing for me. No,
it's not relaxing. I mean, you're going to go again next year.
Hey, I have family commitment. I'm not the only person in my family.
Happy wife, happy life. So, okay, so we make compromises for ourselves, and I don't think we can just. I mean, we can, and people do, but I think it's a little easy to say, that person that just needs to break and just needs to check out, and there's a reason, right?
Oh yeah,
there's a reason that person needs to check out. Like their life is such,
it's legit,
and it's not minimal. You know what I mean? Who knows what hell?
Yeah, I want all these people to get what they need, for sure.
Yeah. I want you to get what you need.
Thank you.
But I want you to have it. And it's like, no, seriously, like to have a good time. But where? Because I mean, Hawaii is not by any stretch kind of like out of this equation, right? Like you say,
it's the same. Yeah,
just a more developed version of that same sort of.
Yeah. So the way I would propose for you.
Mm-hmm. Me.
And this is like
all about me.
Yeah, this is you. And I feel like safe in proposing this because this is what you do normally. Is you go to
Yeah.
a place where you have a connection, and
Yeah.
if there's no place where you have a connection, then you go to a place with the intent to build a
Of
connection,
making one.
and it's very different. It's
Yeah.
very different than the intent to vacate, because the point of like vacating is to just like it's just to recharge, and it
Mm-hmm.
often we go because we're depleted, and making connections takes energy. So it's not the same thing. But you can go to a place and pick a place because it's attractive, because it's warm, because there's a beach, and it's like there's nothing wrong with that. But personally, for you, if you go to a place with the intent to connect and to build a long-term relationship, and I'm going like
Mm-hmm.
beyond service projects here. I'm not like, oh, you should go and build a community center in a town. But it's like it's actually about relating to the people, whatever the excuse is,
Mm-hmm.
then you're gonna feel satisfied, even if
Mm-hmm.
what you end up doing is just drinking every night, or what you end up doing is like getting involved with like a volunteer project and building that community center. The point
And
is
drinking every night.
and drinking every night. The point is you're building relationship, and you're actually in a real relationship with the people in the place, and not just like, I need another margarita. These people are means to my end.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like you need.
I know I was kind of, well, and just to be fair to myself, that has been the vast majority, if not all, of my travel experience.
Yeah, when you go to Peru, that's what you do.
Adulthood. When I go, I mean, yeah, anywhere I've been, I've never, and it was like this was a moment. I mean, this is what you're saying brings up. I want to take seriously this person that needs to vacate, because this is an interesting thing that you're. Maybe I can just tease it out of you a little more, because we can live our lives in such a way that we need compensation just to get through.
Yeah.
Maybe our jobs are so boring. Our relationships are so contentious. Like we need a release valve,
Yeah.
right? We could also do things in our life to make our life more enjoyable. And then we don't need to like kind of look for these release valves. Then we can actually go out looking to create more meaning and connection with
Beautiful.
either we travel or we just go out into the world. But I don't want to say that that's easy, but maybe it's a good way to direct this conversation, something to think about.
No, I think that's exactly right. We can what would be ultimately, I would propose, would be ultimately more satisfying for the person who just needs a vacation. And I was that person this year, so it's not like
just a few weeks ago you were that person.
Yeah, totally.
I just want to clear to our listener. I think
I'm not trying to make anybody bad out
episode.
there.
No, we are one of you.
Yeah, we're all everybody.
We're all everybody.
We're all everybody.
At least we're all gringos here in Gringolandia.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, for sure. But the idea, and that's what became clear to me as I was on this beach in Hawaii, was like, I need to like change a few things about how I relate to myself and my work, so that I don't need this, and I can come like you come to any relationship from a position of giving and wealth and contribution and service, and not from a position of like desperate need. So if like that's my relationship with Hawaii, is to go there like as a needy gringo, it's very different than if I go there as like a really like happy, fulfilled surf bra or something that's just like, I'm just excited to contribute to people's waves or whatever those people do. There's a difference between the need and like, oh yeah, we're going to co-create something, you and me, Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yes, I'm on board with that. I mean, I think there's another side of this too, where I want to explore the many dimensions of this, Well,
I want to hear the end of your story. Is there any kind of redemption at the end of this, or does it just end as a
There's
total
no
disaster?
redemption. There's no redemption, except that my partner and I are still together.
Let's celebrate. Let us celebrate. Wonderful.
We're still together somehow. Okay. Well, maybe I could give you a little image to put a pin in it. Every story does need an end. Fair enough. There was like the final afternoon, evening. The storm blew over, and the clouds gathered out at sea, and I had my guitar. I brought my guitar to practice, was playing some guitar, but I went out in the balcony and I played music, and Elaine and I just sang together. All these songs kind of to the ocean, into the storm. And it made us feel better. It didn't do anything about the situation there, but it made us feel a little better.
Yeah.
And the next day, our last day, the sun is full on. So it was like bookended by these two picturesque, perfect sunny days. We, of course, have to leave at like 6 a.m. or something like that to get on the ferry, get the bus, get back to Cancun, catch the flight back to New York. So we get on this ferry, and it's like our one chance to like sort of like sunbathing on the deck of this ferry. I had my shirt off, and I was like, just like letting the sun hit my skin. And we're just like looking around at everybody on the fucking ferry with us, and they just look like they've been through hell. Just like these are not people that have just vacated, as you're saying. They're just like, oh God. Just everybody, all the couples look on like the verge of divorce. All the like kids are just trying to get away from their families. It's just like, and in the crossing, the outbound ferry that's going to Holbox passes us. And that whole crew is just fired up. And as they pass us, they're like, woo! Holbox! The fucking party! Uno más, por favor! Uno más, por favor! And it's just like fucking going for it. Like really, like yelling at us. And the reaction of my ferry to that ferry was just perfectly deadpan. It was just like there was no like oh those poor bastards or anything. And then almost like in total synchrony, like the whole upper deck of this ferry pulls out their phones and checks the weather to see what the fuck these guys are going to encounter. It's like, oh, fuck, these guys have 3 sunny days right in the middle of their trip. God damn it. And that was it. That's the ending to the story.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Thanks for helping us land there. That was great.
Thanks for listening. All right, folks. So you just heard a 10,000 Heroes podcast takeover. There might be more of these in the future, but
this is it, man. This is the new debrief.
This is the new debrief.
Yeah. So rather than debriefing the last interview, we're just going to debrief
some bizarre story from my life.
Some bizarre story from Nate's life. I love it.
Okay.
God, thank you.
All right.
Hi everyone, this is Martin, your producer, audio editor, and sound designer in chief for the 10,000 Heroes team. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for listening to our show. Let me tell you a couple of things. 10,000 Heroes is brought to you by the team at Momentum Lab. Pierre does our artwork, DJ Plainview composed our theme music, and I handle all the editing, production, and sound design. And now we are closing this episode with a word from our main sponsor, who also happens to be our host, Anchor.
Hey everybody, thanks again for listening. If you like this episode, there's 2 things I want you to do. 1, introduce me to the most inspiring person you know so I can have them on the show. And 2, take the next step towards us hanging out in person. Maybe that's signing up for the newsletter. Maybe that's attending an upcoming in-person or virtual event. What I'm trying to do here is destroy the basic one-to-many nature of this medium, podcast, entertainment, and replace it with something that actually builds connections between people, the beloved community, getting closer together, understanding each other, one conversation at a time. So, join me.